Welcome back everybody to the Trepang lore series, where in today's episode, we will discuss the Pandora Institute. This video will be divided up into two sections, the first being all in-game / developer confirmed information, and the second being my own theories as to where the world and story may go in the future. The Pandora Institute is a high-tech end-of-life care facility run by the Horizon Corporation. The Syndicate's undercover agent, Dr. Emerson, successfully infiltrated the facility, but suddenly went silent. 106 is tasked with assaulting the facility with other TF-27 teams and discover what's happening there, as well as rescuing Dr. Emerson if possible. Arriving via helicopter, 106's helo is met with a barrage of missiles from previously concealed anti-air turrets. Unable to dodge the barrage, 106 is forced to bail out and makes a badass superhero landing. Right off the bat, looking around the Pandora Institute, 106 is met with dozens of Pandora Institute propaganda posters, some talking about limb restoration surgery, blindness cures, and promises of writing patients' autobiographies. After taking out dozens of Horizon guards and disabling the AA guns, 106 moves deeper into the facility and sees even more propaganda, talking about all sorts of achievements the Pandora Institute will help their patients achieve before their inevitable deaths. Moving on to the volunteer exhibit, 106 can see hundreds of names of those who died at the Pandora Institute. How these people died could be chalked up to anything really. However, based on intel we'll discuss later, we can make a solid assumption that these people were experimented on. Taking out the compliance officer in Jackal, 106 moves deeper into the facility and finds a hall full of bodies and body bags. Based on the high volume of these bodies, not left there by 106 or TF-27, it appears as though there was some kind of outbreak that spread throughout the Pandora Institute. Eliminating Samaritan and finishing off any more Horizon guards in his way, 106 gains access to an elevator that, in theory, should lead him to Dr. Emerson's last known signal. Taking the elevator down to sub-level 9, 106 encounters an odd hiccup. The weight in the elevator all of a sudden reaches the max weight limit, and it begins to freefall for a brief moment before the weight disappears and 106 is suddenly safe. Opening up on the ground floor, 106 enters Site 97 and finds blood and gore caking the floors, walls, and ceiling. As he navigates the halls, it's eerily silent, without a single Horizon guard standing in his way. Occasionally written on the walls, 106 can find orders from the guards who are stationed here. These notes are mostly about checkpoints and rally points, most of which have been abandoned. Moving into the staff-only wing, 106 finds a whiteboard that reads, "Find Dr. Emerson. Checkpoints Darwin, Conrad, Safari, Odessa, and Sentinel searched. Maxwell, last seen by Unit Denver." Nearby, he can find more text written on the walls that read, "To Dr. Clark, Major Winters. Keep this off radio. Sterilization impossible. Extraction impossible. We are already compromised. Relay order to men. Enable lockdown protocol. Disable all insertion points. Kill Dr. Emerson. Damage control is all we can do. Assemble security teams to Maxwell. Dr. Green, now hiding in safe room." Sneaking through a vent, 106 is finally able to disable the laser gate blocking his way. Immediately, a guard rushes him and opens fire. However, out of another vent, a massive monster leaps out and attacks the guard before disappearing. Unfazed by this, 106 continues on and finds a man infected with something. After a moment, his skin begins to melt and the man turns into some kind of acid-spitting zombie and proceeds to attack 106. Killing it and stepping around the corner, 106 can find another drone. Accessing it, the new message reads, "Data package, Pandora Institute, evidence of anomalous research. Upload complete." Incoming message. It was never going to be a rescue mission. Downloading file, confidential 9713 Bravo. To Robert Kramer from Anton Lazar. We have a defector. Our last two containment breaches were no coincidences. Laboratories 13A and 13F are both adjacent to Maintenance Access Delta. Only one person in recent access logs, Dr. Emerson. Recommended covert surveillance until we find out who he's working for. End of message. Entering the cafeteria, 106 sees congealed biomass has grown all over the place, resulting in more of these zombies to appear and attack. While fending them off, 106 is also attacked by the high-value target, Biohacker, who has seemingly been infected by the biomass as well. Dispatching the infected and finding another checkpoint, 106 finds another whiteboard that reads, "Situation, f***ed. Reactor, overrun. Can't find Emerson." As well as, "Contain patients, evac scientists, eliminate biomass, terminate anomaly, all ongoing with repair reactor, failed." As 106 continues along, he sees the biomass has melted in an elevator and gets a close look at what total infection looks like as the monster appears again and knocks him down the elevator shaft into a heavily infected zone. The biomass is everywhere and infection is rampant, while here the acid begins to melt away at 106, causing him to slowly take damage unless he books it out of there as he's being chased by the monster and its infected hordes. Escaping the infected zone, 106 finally finds Dr. Emerson, who is sadly dead. Taking his flash drive and uploading his data, 106 notices in his hand a gold medallion etched with XCV, or 95, the exact same one 105 had, seemingly confirming that Dr. Emerson was also a super soldier, just like 105 and 106. With his primary objective failed, 106 is then tasked with containing the monster and the infection. Gearing up at a conveniently placed armory, 106 descends back into Site 97 and is tasked with detonating the experimental bioreactors in order to destroy the facility and everything within it. As you would expect, the biomass has spread everywhere here, and after fighting some more infected, 106 realizes he could throw the infected into the reactor, causing it to explode. Destroying all reactors, 106 sprints for the exit, only to be cornered by the monster again, who once again knocks him down a level. Being chased by not only the monster, but the growing fires of the exploding reactors, 106 sprints for the exit where, while waiting for the elevator to arrive, must confront the monster. Holding it off just long enough, 106 is able to escape as the fires engulf the monster. As 106's elevator rises to the exit, the Horizon CEO contacts him and is saddened by the fact that in less than a week, he has already destroyed one of his facilities and tells him he was never supposed to be a weapon. As he disconnects, 106 links up with TF-27, who is waiting for him by helicopter. But he's not out of the woods yet, as 106 is attacked once more by the monster, who is finally revealed to be the Mothman. 106 witnesses Mothman vomit acid onto his TF-27 teammates, turning them into the acid zombies he's been fighting. After a short final battle, 106 is able to kill the Mothman, and as his extraction helicopter arrives, the director tells him that this is what Horizon is hiding: uncontrollable experiments justified by saying their research will quote-unquote change the world. This is why it is the Syndicate's duty to correct their mistakes, one black site at a time. Returning to the TF-27 base, the director tells 106 she needs to show him something. Descending into the bowels of the site, the director shows 106 the nuclear device they're holding. She tells him that their mission and intel is too important to fall into enemy hands, and if push comes to shove and they're compromised, they will detonate the nuke. Which 106 does instantly and the game ends. Just kidding. And with one last cryptic drone saying she's not telling us everything, that is all the lore of this mission, so let's move on to the intel. First, we have Welcome to the Pandora Institute. Welcome to the Pandora Institute, where end-of-life care is cool and fun. At the Pandora Institute, we know that end-of-life care can be harrowing and depressing, but not anymore. Our state-of-the-art facility, run by Horizon Corporation, offers a unique and luxurious experience for young adults like you. Imagine having the time of your life with all the perks of a 5-star resort, like swimming pools, parties, and a fully stocked bar. But that's not all. Our staff is here to provide you with the best possible care and specialized treatment to ensure you are comfortable as well as cared for. The best part? It's completely free. Thanks to the Horizon Corporation, you don't have to worry about the cost. So why wait? Come to the Pandora Institute and make the most of your life's final chapter. Live it to the fullest, surrounded by luxury, comfort, and good company. Featured patients. This month's featured patients are fashion designer Sarah, 25, and skateboarder Michael, 27, both recently diagnosed with terminal illnesses. The staff at the Pandora Institute arranged for them to live out their dreams before they passed away. Sarah had a virtual fashion show featuring her designs, and Michael, a professional skateboarder, had one last skateboarding session with his friends and family. The Pandora Institute is dedicated to making patients' dreams become a reality, even if it's for a limited time. Social media post. Just became a patient at the Pandora Institute. It is amazing. The Horizon staff are so friendly, and the free food is delicious. But what I love most is knowing that my short time here is meaningful. Not only am I able to live out my remaining days in comfort and luxury, but I'm also able to contribute to medical research by donating my body after my death. Plus, it's environmentally friendly too. Hashtag Pandora Institute, hashtag medical research, at Anton Lazar, and at Horizon Corporation. Patient's last message 1. Dear parents, I hope this message finds you well. You must be worried about me since I haven't contacted you in some time. I'm doing fine, but my illness is in its final stages, and unfortunately, I will pass away soon. As much as I would love to hear from you, please respect my privacy at this time. You will receive my belongings and some forms that require your signature on my behalf. Please sign these forms and mail them back. It means a lot to me. Your child, Devin. Patient's last message 2. My dear wife Sandra, I hope this message finds you well. You must be worried since I haven't contacted you in some time. I'm doing fine, but my illness is in its final stages, and unfortunately, I will pass away soon. As much as I'd love to hear from you, please respect my privacy at this time. You will receive my belongings and some forms that require your signature on my behalf. Please sign these forms and mail them back. It means a lot to me. Your husband, Alex. Patient's last message 3. Dear, error next of kin data not entered. I hope this message finds you well. You must be worried since I haven't contacted you in some time. I'm doing fine, but my illness is in its final stages, and unfortunately, I will pass away soon. As much as I'd love to hear from you, please respect my privacy at this time. You will receive my belongings and some forms that require your signature on my behalf. Please sign these forms and mail them back. It means a lot to me. Your error, relationship unknown, Joseph. Email to family. Automated message. Email not sent. Reason: this email was not sent because it does not meet the guidelines set forth by the Pandora Institute for communications from our institution. Subject: I want to go home. Dad, my stay here isn't great. The staff is pushy and mean. They're always trying to force me into medical studies. The rules and curfews are so harsh and I'm so bored. Is it too late to change my mind? Patient transfers. To Pandora Institute from Juniper General Hospital. Subject: patient transfer request. We understand that you have formally offered a large sum of money for the transfer of patients, but we declined this offer as it was not in line with our values. However, we are reluctantly accepting the transfer of some of our patients to your facility to alleviate the burden on our hospital, with the understanding that this is a one-time transfer and that the well-being of our patients is of the utmost importance. Please let us know ASAP if this transfer is possible. Thank you for your consideration. Regards, Juniper General Hospital. Faculty staff email. From faculties to Pandora Institute. Can you guys slow down with the names? We just added 50 last week. We're running out of room on these walls, and we can't build more walls fast enough. Mission Archives, December 15th, 1967. 1640 hours. Team arrived. Visual confirmation of target on the Silver Bridge. 1650 hours. Firearms ineffective. Director orders team to switch to Plan B. 1656 hours. Explosives armed. Team moves to extract. 1658 hours. Explosive charges detonated. 1710 hours. RDA confirms. Target destroyed. Team exfils. Black Ops mission log. 0100 hours. Black Ops Talon Falcon approached a barn where Syndicate operatives were hiding. 0103 hours. Falcon breached the barn's defenses and engaged in a firefight with the operatives. 0140 hours. Syndicate operatives were neutralized and the barn was secure. 0200 hours. During SSE, a large metal crate, approximately 5 by 5 meters, was discovered. 0440 hours. Falcon extracted the crate, loaded it onto Flight Horizon 219, and handed it to the Pandora Institute for further study. Pandorium. The discovery of a new organic biomaterial has the potential to revolutionize the energy industry. This biomaterial, designated Pandorium, is derived from organic resources and has the ability to consume and convert a wide range of organic matter into highly efficient and stable sources of energy. Pandorium also has the added benefit of cleaning up and neutralizing hazardous materials, making it valuable for environmental cleanup. Furthermore, preliminary testing has shown that Pandorium could have medical applications as it accelerates the repair of damaged tissue and promotes healing. Patient exposure. The effects on a human subject were catastrophic. Upon exposure, the subject's DNA was rapidly rewritten, causing grotesque mutations and physical deformities. The subject was immediately transformed. Its skin took on a sickly green hue, becoming blistered and swollen, and oozed thick green liquid. Behavior became increasingly violent and erratic, though it's unclear if this was a result of the mutation or a side effect of the pain caused by the physical changes. Despite these horrific effects, brain scans revealed that the subject's cognitive abilities remained intact. Though severely impaired, they could process some information and make limited decisions based on physical and verbal stimuli. Unfortunately, the subject didn't survive long. The gas buildup caused by the mutation eventually led to a massive explosion, killing the subject. Experiment log. Horizon developed a dilution protocol for Pandorium to be administered to patients while minimizing its detrimental effects. Initial results were astounding, with all subjects showing significant health improvements and accelerated healing. However, as the experiment continued, it was discovered that Pandorium had a detrimental effect on the subject's mental state, causing them to experience hallucinations and increasing their aggression. Dr. Emerson's notes. The final curtain falls. Only time will reveal if we played our cards right. Let us hope the destruction was worth it in the end. On site, there are 4 high-value targets. First, we have Nicolau Silva, otherwise known as Jackal. Silva was a Rio de Janeiro SWAT officer who turned to a life of violence and crime after several of his team were killed in an ambush by the cartel. Frustrated by the bureaucracy and corruption that prevented him from seeking revenge, Nicolau went rogue, tracking down and killing the cartel members responsible for his friend's death. His skills caught the attention of the Horizon Corporation, who hired him as a private military contractor. Over time, Nicolau became addicted to the thrill of the hunt, chasing down and killing any targets without questioning orders. Next, we have Samaritan. As a former combat medic in the Canadian Armed Forces, Marcus Gregor was a skilled lifesaver and soldier. After leaving the military, Marcus volunteered with various militia groups all over the world, becoming an expert in life-saving while under fire despite harsh conditions and limited equipment. It was this unique skill set that earned him a lucrative contract with the Horizon Corporation. Marcus now wears heavy armor to protect not only him, but his comrades, as he is often seen rushing into the fray to save lives. Next is Compliance Officer Killian Reynolds. Killian is tasked with ensuring employees meet the company standards. He was stationed at the Pandora Institute, with his primary objective being the prevention of information leaks relating to recent workplace deaths. And finally, we have the biohacker Dr. Tobias Lambeth. Dr. Lambeth serves as the head physician at Horizon Corporation, primarily responsible for the well-being and longevity of high-ranking personnel. He has gained notoriety with the biohacking community for his willingness to perform unproven medical procedures. Driven by an eagerness to showcase his abilities, he has intentionally infected himself with deadly diseases on multiple occasions to test experimental cures, with a perfect success rate thus far. However, we do discover his perfect success rate was broken, as Dr. Lambeth is one of the infected roaming the halls of Site-97. And with that, let's talk about a few things. So let's start this discussion off by explaining the Pandora Institute. The facility presents itself as a luxurious, seemingly benevolent facility for the terminally ill, offering an upbeat resort-like atmosphere as they are nearing the end of their lives. However, as we explore the facility, we discovered a dark secret. The Pandora Institute is run by the Horizon Corporation, which raises questions about the real motivations behind offering such luxury for free. The emphasis on medical research and body donations suggests that the patients are used as experimental subjects, and the quote-unquote free care could be a way to lure people into these studies. In fact, we know this to be true, as at Site 14, Dr. Takaguchi mentions in his 106 memory transplant attempt report that volunteers were requisitioned from the Pandora Institute to be used as memory transplant recipients, confirming that these quote-unquote volunteers are tricked into donating their bodies for scientific research. There are also several clues about the Pandora Institute being a much more horrible place than presented, as emails mentioned pushy staff, harsh rules, and curfews. This suggests that patients are not given as much freedom as advertised. The request to respect patients' privacy during their final moments, paired with the automated message, points to a systematic effort to isolate patients from their loved ones, potentially to ensure compliance with the Institute's agenda. The email regarding patient transfers and the large sum of money offered for them hints at even more unethical practices. It seems the Pandora Institute may be paying hospitals to offload their patients, which implies an exploitative, profit-driven motive behind the care they provide. Not only this, but the positive testimonials and social media posts feel curated and artificial, with phrases like meaningful short time and environmentally friendly. Combined with contrasting, more desperate personal messages, suggest that the Institute is projecting a misleading image, hiding the grim reality of what patients actually experience. Another way to look at this is it's basically how the SCP Foundation treats their D-class personnel. However, instead of them being convicts, it's just normal people hoping for a peaceful final few days. Instead, the Pandora Institute is exploiting vulnerable, terminally ill patients under the guise of luxury and comfort, while subjecting these volunteers, as they call them, to unethical medical practices. Moving on to the Mothman, he is a fairly well-known cryptid in American folklore. The Mothman legend began in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in November 1966 after two couples, driving near the TNT area, an abandoned munitions facility, reported seeing a large, winged creature with glowing red eyes. The creature was described as about 7 feet tall with a wingspan of 10 to 15 feet and was capable of flying at high speeds. Local newspapers dubbed the creature as the Mothman, inspired by the popularity of Batman at the time, though there's no clear connection between the cryptid and the comic book character beyond the name. Witnesses of the Mothman report feeling an intense sense of dread or fear upon seeing it. The Mothman is said to either chase cars or be sighted watching people from a distance. While it rarely engages physically, its presence is unsettling, and it has been linked with ominous events such as the Silver Bridge collapse, which is perhaps the most famous event associated with the Mothman. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed within seconds due to the combination of a fracture in one of the eye bars and heavy traffic. The resulting collapse caused the deaths of 46 people, 2 of which were never found. Some witnesses claim to have seen the Mothman around the bridge in the days leading up to the disaster. This led to speculation that the Mothman either caused the collapse or was a harbinger of the tragedy. After the bridge collapsed, the idea of the Mothman as an omen of doom took hold, and the creature became associated with forewarnings of disaster ever since. In the Trepang universe, the mention of a team arriving at the Silver Bridge on December 15, 1967 aligns with the date of the real-life Silver Bridge collapse. The intel implies that the bridge may have been deliberately destroyed to eliminate the Mothman, suggesting it was seen as a dangerous entity. The Mothman is also described as impervious to firearms, forcing the team to use explosives as a plan B. This indicates that the creature is either extremely resilient and possibly bioengineered. I assume the team that captured Mothman initially was the Syndicate, but Horizon had Talon Company raid a Syndicate facility at some later date and took the entity for their own research. Regardless, after Horizon began their experimentation on Mothman, they discovered the mysterious biomaterial they dubbed Pandorium. Pandorium's abilities to both convert organic material into energy and accelerate healing is extremely valuable and would change the energy and medical fields forever if properly studied and utilized. However, the catastrophic effects of Pandorium on humans, causing grotesque mutations and behavioral changes, parallel the descriptions of the Mothman as a dangerous, potentially mutated or hybridized creature. If Pandorium is responsible for the Mothman's powers or abilities, it would explain its resilience and possible connection to a bioengineering experiment gone wrong. This does beg the question though, what came first, the Pandorium or the Mothman? Say Mothman is the result of a rogue experiment, then that implies Pandorium, or whatever it was called before Horizon got their hands on it, has incredible mutagenic properties. Let's say the US government discovered this mutagenic biomaterial somewhere and subjected a test subject to its properties. Initial infection turns subjects into these acid zombie things who vomit out more of this biomaterial, creating a hive of sorts. After a while, these infected could potentially enter a cocoon, as we did see these strange growths in the biomass hives. After a while, one of these infected could then turn into a Mothman, implying that there isn't just one, but it's the result of this weird biomaterial infection. If that is the case, then perhaps this isn't the last we've seen of the Mothman. However, I want to propose another theory that doesn't have a lot of basis, but could potentially be an origin to super soldiers like 105, 106, and 95. We can infer that the Syndicate had the Mothman for a time, either since its appearance in the 60s or potentially later. Either way, they had access to the Mothman or a Mothman. What if they were able to harvest the Pandorium, or whatever it was initially called, from Mothman and actually use its extremely valuable properties to create super soldiers? We know Pandorium can repair damaged tissue, prompting rapid healing. However, while it can heal and regenerate tissue, it also causes severe mutations in human subjects, as it rewrites their DNA. So what if the Syndicate, or some other organization, figured out a way to infect a patient with Pandorium and grant the subject a slight healing factor, which we know 106 has, as well as a random ability as it rewrites their DNA? Basically, grant a subject all the positive effects without the cellular degradation and acid zombie physique. What if Subject 95, aka Dr. Emerson, had a mutation that made him incredibly smart, but he didn't possess the increased strength, invisibility, or bullet time abilities? What if Subject 105 could turn invisible and could do something else, as we really don't know anything about him? Basically, the super soldiers are the result of successful experimentation with Pandorium, using the mutagenic properties to create superhumans with various unique abilities. And maybe not all of these tests were a success. Maybe only a handful of subjects survived the Pandorium exposure, and the ones that did survive were then cloned for future use. Because, as we'll see in future episodes, cloning super soldiers is actually a lot easier than you'd expect. If this is true, then this would be a massive revelation for the origins of 106 and all of his fellow super soldiers. But again, if this is true, then it begs the question, where does Pandorium come from? Well, the answer to me is obvious. Sea cucumbers. It always comes back to those sea cucumbers. Those invertebrate fucks are at the root of all conspiracy in this game. We know this game is a sequel to a sea cucumber game, so it has to come back to that at some point. Mark my words, the answer is in the cucumber. Look for the cucumber. It contains all the answers. Look to the cucumber. We are a cucumber. 106 is a cucumber. 105 is a cucumber. 95 is a cucumber. Every other number is a cucumber. We're all cucumbers. At the end of the day, Trepang is a cucumber, so everybody in the entire game is a cucumber. It's all cucumbers. It's all cucumbers.